Love you guys. How you doing? And we are live on Facebook with Julie Murphy and me here. If you'd like to see my cool background instead of this little tapestry, you can go to Julie's site on Facebook and check it out there.
Are you saying that you're multicolored today? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, well, we are in Mercury, Venus, Pluto, Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune retrograde, so gotta work with it. Right?
I know, it's like everywhere. It's like, well, but actually it's so funny that you say all that, because I actually looked up the dates, because I was like, I need to figure out when this shit's going out of retrograde, because with 4 planets in retrograde at the same time, it's getting a little cray-cray out there right now.
Oh no, right now we're up to 6.
Oh, man, 6?
Yeah. Yes, but
no butts, no coconuts.
However, we do have Venus going direct here in what, 3 days? Hallelujah!
Yes,
thank God.
Yeah,
Venus retrograde for me is always the usually the toughest one, because it deals with love and vulnerability and relationships and shit. Right?
Yeah, how about them apples?
Well, I'll tell you what, I've had a lot of people reaching out to me lately. Just relationships breaking up, like families just breaking down, just things just dissolving, just in ways that people would have expected, right?
Right.
But the thing is, it needs to happen. It needs to happen.
It really does.
And if you're not aware of the energies, then you don't really okay, well, this is just I had someone that I hadn't talked to in 8 or 9 years, out of nowhere. Oh, hey, how you been? Hey, what's up, Antonio? My nephew's on here.
Hey, what's going on, nephew?
Yeah. She hit me up and she was like, figures I'm experiencing the same shit that I've been experiencing for the last 3 years in a row. I was like, well, that's not a coincidence.
That does it.
Because
yeah,
the same cycle keeps repeating itself.
Well, and I think so much of this, it's a reminder to me that, again, I always say this, that we either work things out or we act it out, and we do it through our health or through our money.
So right? True. And it's happening big time right now.
And what's super important is this allowing process.
That's not it. And that don't feel good right now.
No. Well, it's just like prior to this call, you asked me how I was doing, and then all of a sudden, woo, the tears flow.
Right.
Because the only way you get through it is by feeling the emotions
go through it. Right.
of what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. Which is actually, I kind of want to talk about that a little bit, because this energy that we're in, we're coming to a precipice or a pinnacle or an apex, if you will. All right. The second of 3 that the first one was really right when the Rona shit popped off. Okay. This is the second one. The last one will be in November, right around election time. How ironic.
Yeah. But isn't it ironic?
Yeah, right. But this one is because both the energies are retrograde. These are 2 very deep and intense internalized energies that are, man, we are excavating deeper into our souls than we ever have before. And it's, honestly,
like soul excavation.
Soul excavation, yes.
Like our mummies are being demummified.
In a way, yes, really.
Oh, I'm really good at visuals.
This is literally, yeah, that was a good one. This is literally like connecting to past lives, Akashic records, deep down, like beyond this time and space. And really all the indigos, star seeds, light workers, rainbow children, crystal children, and whatever else word they use, all of us right now are being activated by this deep energy. And
go ahead, sorry.
And as we're getting activated, it's actually bringing up, we always knew we had this deeper person within us. It's like we always felt like we were meant to do something more in this world. And now it's like we're being activated, like, okay, this is what you're here to do.
Well, and you can't ignore it anymore, you know, and
No.
I talk about it in my recent book, you know, that you have to build your life from the inside out. And
Yeah.
it's because there is no longer the availability, or you could, but you're only going to create suffering patterns. If you go from an external referral system to how you're supposed to live your life. And this is about an internal knowing, an internal referral, so that, you know, your authenticity can just come oozing out, because you can't, the energy's not going to let you do it the other way anymore.
No, it's not. No, it's not. So, but I was talking to my boy, the Peace Dealer, the other day, and he actually brought up some really very interesting points about the time that we're in right now in relationship to the bigger picture, right? So
tell me more.
The transit of Saturn right now, the transit of Saturn is getting ready to go full time into Aquarius next year. Now we got a taste of that, and it's coming back. In fact, it's moving back into Capricorn tomorrow, I believe. Or well, let me see. No, on July 1st, it's moving back into Capricorn. Okay, so it's going to be back into Capricorn right around the 29-degree spot, which is the master number, which is like, it's literally the culmination of all that Capricorn energy, and like finalizing it, finishing it. That this is like becoming the master and finishing out the details of what's going to happen next. Once Saturn goes into Aquarius this next time, right? This is where we are being tested through humanity. It's like if Saturn were the judge, Pluto is the executioner, and this is what I mean by that, okay? With every civilization that's come before us, right, they come to a point in time where they have the opportunity to evolve and grow, right?
Right.
And we are at that precipice. We are ready to grow. It's like the glass ceiling can't hold us anymore. It's about to burst. Now, when Pluto goes into Aquarius in 2023, that's going to that's going to be the start, the true complete start of the Aquarian age. But from now until then, we're going through this testing period through Saturn. And what Saturn is testing us about in Aquarius is, can we all unify?
Right, because we all are one.
Right.
And we have to get to that place where we have love and compassion, regardless of whatever stuff you agree or disagree with other people on. But it's about just coming from a place of neutrality and observation, and releasing judgment, and releasing duality and polarity. And
it is,
the new energy is all about oneness and heart-based consciousness. Like, do
right.
what's loving, do what's compassionate.
Right. So that is where it is our responsibility to humanity to stand in our power and get the word out there. Basically, go out there and, I don't want to say the word preach, but
right?
Lead by example. Exactly.
I mean, I keep telling my kids all the time, I'm like, you know what? We just have to respond with love and compassion. All will fall into place if we respond with love and compassion.
Okay, but now with that, responding with love and compassion, look at what you just told me before we got on here, and look what I'm going through too.
Right.
We're all being, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. This is the Pluto Jupiter energy. It's going to make it look like it's fucking impossible.
So let's talk about that. So what we're dancing around is the fact that when you are witnessing someone in your life who is off the charts triggered right now, and they are just mean, they are in their stuff, they are just lashing out, they're projecting what's going on inside of them
on them hooks
onto everybody else, and thinking it's everybody else's problem. But if you're the one reacting and you're the one triggering, the problem is with you.
Yeah.
And you need to shift on some level.
Right. So
hold on a second. So for those of you guys who are watching, here's what we need to master, because those who are going to be watching us are the ones who are already conscious enough about that. Okay, I don't want to play that role anymore. I'm becoming more aware, and I want to do. So you're not going to project back and forth with these people.
Right.
So it's about the fact that you actually just stay in a state of neutrality and go, that's some interesting stuff. And they're really activated right now. And I'm just going to let them be in their activation. I'm just going to go over here.
Right.
And I'm just going to send love to them, no matter what the words are coming out of their mouth, no matter what, like in my particular instance, here, I pay alimony. I gave him everything he wanted in the divorce. He was an at-home dad with 2 nannies, and I just got served with legal papers again. And it's like, are you flipping kidding me? Are you flipping kidding me? And I'm just sitting here going, you know what? It has nothing to do with me. He wants it to be about me.
Right.
But I'm going to keep doing my soul work. I'm going to keep doing and being the bright light that I'm supposed to be to heal millions around all this stuff.
Yes.
When he really needs to deal with what is in his past. It has
Right.
nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
Which is why I left the marriage, because his past was not being cleaned up and it was affecting me.
Right.
And this is where it ties into this Awaken Your Health series that I thought was important to bring up.
Yeah.
That in 2016, because things were not in alignment for me in my life, I got this scare. I had 7 people, random people, a friend from grammar school, a fellow business owner, an estate planning attorney that I know, 7 people random call me within the 2-week time period saying, oh my God, I had a dream about you. You need to go get a mammogram. And I was like,
shit.
I need to go get a mammogram. Like, that's pretty random when a male estate planning attorney that's gay calls you up and tells you need to go get a mammogram. Like,
Wow.
So here's what happened. Here's how when I wasn't living my life from the inside out in 2016,
Right.
I get these warning signs, go get a mammogram. And sure as shit, they found something.
Oh.
And they said, we want you to keep coming back for mammograms, because it wasn't to the point yet where they wanted to do a biopsy of it.
Okay.
But they said, we want to watch it. So for the first quarter, I came back like once a month. Then it was every 3 months. But then as I addressed the stuff in my life that was not in alignment with my core, that spot shrunk. And 1 year later after that, it dissipated. And that was a year of me going through marriage counseling.
Wow.
So I was addressing the stuff in my marriage, and then my health got better.
Okay.
Then,
Hold on real quick,
Yep.
Julie, just so you guys know, this is Julie Murphy. If you guys like to actually see her on the screen, because I'm here on Instagram, we're on her Facebook as well. Okay. So you guys can go check out her Facebook at Awaken with Julie. All right,
Yeah.
check it out. You can actually see my green screen instead of this fucking tapestry right here. So she is a wealth coach, and I am her health coach, and together we're talking about health and wealth. Okay, so we're just telling some personal stories here, you know that are pertaining to the energies going on right now. So I'm sorry, Julie, proceed.
Yeah, no worries. But then as I needed to address the next layer of what was going on in my marriage,
Right.
then that following July, like almost a year later after the mammogram stuff, I went to the doctor just to have a blood workup to see what kind of vitamins and minerals and all that stuff. And all of a sudden they're like, you have the early signs of an autoimmune disease. I'm like, no.
Oh.
I do not need to manifest an autoimmune disease to
Right.
address the next layer of what's going on in my life.
Right.
So me and my husband went to the next layer. And that actually led, then I was like, no, because I was choosing me, that I had to do what was not in alignment for my heart and soul. It needed to be addressed. And that's what eventually caused me to file for divorce. And
Good for you for
my
having the courage to
autoimmune
do
numbers are totally fine. So I never contracted full breast cancer. I never wound up with an autoimmune disease. I'm now divorced, and there's
Hey,
a
Julie,
lot of stuff that's
that.
happened.
You just joined on my Instagram. Thank you.
What?
You just joined me on my Instagram. What's up, Julie?
What's up? And so my point in sharing this is that it does act out with our health and our wealth
It
if we're
does.
not living from the inside out.
Right.
And you know what? We can't control other people. We can't
Nope.
control how they react. We can't
No.
control how they respond. I can guarantee this to everyone who's listening, that if you work on you, the universe will orchestrate all the rest and will do it in alignment and in your favor.
100%.
Because you're
100%.
working on you. That
Right.
is
And
most important.
and a lot of people, most people that I've worked with too, once we get past the age of 35, if you start coming down with serious health issues, you go to the Western medical system and you're just going to degenerate. They're going to put you on medications and address the symptoms and just numb you out.
Right.
What the real problem is, though, is that you're not following your heart. That's literally the bottom line. So if you're just compensating, well, life has me stuck in this situation, so I can't move, I can't leave, I can't do this, I got to work this job.
And that's baloney, because everything
It's
can
bullshit.
be changed.
It's complete bullshit. Right.
Everything in your life can be changed. You just have to find the courage to actually do it.
Right. And it can be scary.
Oh,
All right.
so
but
scary.
Would
Absolutely.
you rather sit at, like, when you are 90 years old or 85 or 100 years old and on your deathbed, right? And you think back, you're like, damn it, I should have done this different. I should have done that. I should have taken this chance. I should have taken this risk. I should have, told this person I love them. I should have worked, fought harder to be with my children. I should have done this, that. When you go to die, you're not bringing your money with you. You're not bringing anything with you. Like, you're bringing your memories and you're bringing your experiences. So if you didn't put everything into your own heart and what you got, you are going to die with massive amounts of regrets.
Right. And
You
that
gotta
doesn't
do the
help
work
anybody.
now.
Right. So we don't have to call in the crisis to actually shift. That's my
Right.
point.
Right. Absolutely.
Usually, I mean, how many people have you met where they have a health crisis and then they shift their lives? But
Of
yet for
course.
years they
That's how it usually
knew
happens.
for years they knew that something else needed to shift.
Right.
And we continue to keep doing the same things that are creating the same problems, and then they just amplify. And today, that amplification is going to happen to the good or to the bad. So the question is what do you want to do? I have a niece that just came up to me the other day and she said, Aunt Julie, your life with Uncle Bill is exactly the relationship I've been living with my baby daddy. And she finally just took a stand and he started doing all the projection stuff. And it's like, but this is normal. This is not about any one in particular person. Like, this is human nature. When you have unresolved traumas yourself in your physical system, we project that out to other people. And I think what happened with the whole COVID thing is it forced people to be in their homes to look at their realities.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Which is
A lot of
why
people got a good
domestic
look.
violence is up 60%.
I know, isn't that
This
sad?
is why suicide is up.
Oh, it's terrible.
This is why all these negative things are up, because this is how much we as a society have not been actually processing our realities and changing them and being proactive for our own lives.
Right. And then, of course, if you're following the narrative of the mainstream media, it's feeding.
Which I don't know why you would be, because mainstream media.
But at this point, if you are, like, it's almost like comedy. Like, it's unfortunate comedy. But it's like, oh yeah, right. Get out of here. You. Come on, dude. Who the fuck? Like, are you kidding me? I mean, like, so I was at the gym earlier and I CNN happened to be on, and I saw like how they were talking about the Trump rally, and they're saying that a couple people from the Trump administration got COVID, how they had way lower numbers that showed up and this and that. And like, they're literally talking, they're just like, they're trying to create division. It's fucking terrible. It's that is the plague. That is the disease. It's horrible. It's brainwashing.
Well,
Stop watching the news.
That's the thing, is you got to watch the input that you're putting into your system, because that negativity creates more negativity. I always say that your thoughts, your words, and your feelings are the vibration that you're putting out to the world. And that's exactly what's going to ripple effect back to you. So if you're watching something like mainstream media or anything that gets you fired up or negative, you're just going to attract more negative to yourself. It's like that whole thing of misery loves company.
And right now the manifestation is instantaneous. But I saw someone just posted a comment, and I want to ask you your opinion about this, and then I'll tell you what mine is. Said if counseling wasn't so stigmatized, then more people would have done it before all this. What's your feeling on counseling, like talk therapy?
So I was at a symposium back in 2012 with
all
Jack
bougie.
Chopra. And I have a lot of formal education.
Yeah.
For better or for worse.
Of course.
And so I have a thirst for knowledge. So Deepak Chopra, would bring the brightest scientists and the brightest minds from around the world to his symposium. And I had been doing this work called holographic repatterning, which sounds very foreign to many people, since 2007. So I was doing it for 5 years, and I didn't know why it worked. I just knew that it worked. And this PhD from across the ocean, I don't remember exactly where he was from, but he was this quantum physicist or something of that nature. He said, we now know, and we have proven from a scientific perspective, that if you work with somebody in the holographic layer of the universe, that think of it like that's where your cell phones tap into.
Yeah.
You work with a practitioner or a healer that works in that layer, that something that would have taken you 10 years of traditional psychotherapy can now be healed in 30 seconds flat.
Oh my God.
Because it's quantum healing, and this is all quantum physics. Now, I had experienced this kind of healing from working with my friend Ann Emerson in Sedona. Because she does this holographic repatterning, which means that it clears your limiting beliefs that keep repeating your suffering cycles. But talk therapy takes way too long. So I've come to the conclusion when I refer clients to things, yes, do I think that we need support along the way? Yeah, you would have fixed it already if you already knew how.
Yeah, of course.
So doing sessions with people to actually support you to get to the next place, but you've got to do the energy work.
100%.
Einstein proved that E equals MC squared, which means we are all energy and everything around us is energy.
Right.
So if you're not doing the energy work along with the counseling, you're taking the long route, and you could take a much shorter route. And by all means, if anyone wants to message me and get referrals to people who do these things, I'm not the one that does them, but I have plenty of people in my toolbox for people to help them to energetically get them to the next place.
I feel you.
We do need it. Some people need to talk. Some people just go into the energy work. Some are both. And so, but you can't just do the counseling without the, and the most common one that you see in counseling today with therapists is tapping. But I also think that that's a watered down version of it as well.
Yeah, tapping, it's
a watered down version.
Yeah, I mean, I think there are much more beneficial ways.
I think there's much more effective ways.
Yeah, and I'm right on the same page with you about talk therapy. When I got out of the military, I was doing a lot of that, and it actually made me worse, because it makes you compartmentalize things. You label something, you identify yourself as broken or fucked up, and then you have to fix something. But really, the act that you need to do is accept that part of you, not believe that you're broken. And so that leads you in the wrong direction. So my personal opinion is that entire philosophy of the whole class of psychology needs to be revamped, because it's just a money-making machine. It's sick care, not health care, right? I mean, gotta call it what it is. It's like vaccines.
Well, and I just think so much of it is the fact that, if you're already questioning whether counseling is good or not, you already have a knowing that it's not right for you.
Yeah.
This is where you got to build that muscle of your own inner knowing.
Right. But you do have to talk. You got to clear your throat chakra. You got to get the energy of it out. Right. This is exactly why I created the Opportunity Community, because we are all empaths, right? Especially empaths are drawn to this kind of stuff like a moth to the flame, because we need to be able to get it out, because we feel crazy or nuts or weird for talking about this kind of shit to normal people, right? Yeah. But what is normal now anyways? Especially now Neptune's retrograde. Nobody fucking knows what normal is.
Well, your buddy, the Peace Dealer, I think said it the best the other day on one of his YouTube videos, where he was just like, you know what? Right now, everyone thought we were nuts, but now those of us who thought we were nuts, now we're pretty normal now, because we're not the ones freaking out while everyone else is freaking out because they haven't done their work.
Exactly.
And I agree with that. I feel pretty calm through all this, and everyone thinks I'm nuts.
Yeah, well, they can think whatever they want. I
don't really care. Yeah. I let my freak flag fly. I don't mind.
Get it. Let that freak flag fly, baby. Hey, what do you feel about muscle testing?
Yeah. What's that?
What do you feel about muscle testing?
Oh, absolutely. That's your body. Muscle testing is part of. So my friend Ann Emerson in Sedona, who does the muscle testing, she taps into the holographic layer and she measures your belief system by muscle testing.
Okay.
And it's actually, it's been really weird. Like I've seen her like ask me a question and push on my hand, and if it's true for me, my hand doesn't move. If it's not, no matter how I try to resist, it just moves. It's like the weirdest thing in the world. But your body tells you the answers.
Yeah, I know if something's right or wrong for me, I just feel it. I don't really need to do like the little technique or the whatever the fuck, you know. I know like I have some people that like swear by muscle testing and they're incredibly intuitive, and but I think that's like a great validation, but by itself.
But some people don't have your intuitive gifts.
True, yeah, very true.
Right? So they get it different ways. Again, that goes back to judgment, right? Like don't judge, because we all get it in different ways, but the thing is we're all getting it.
Exactly. That's what matters.
Because that's all that matters.
Right. And so, which actually brings me back around to the Jupiter-Pluto stuff. Okay.
You tell.
So Jupiter and Pluto are about to exactly conjunct here on the 27th. And so this is the second of 3, but this is all internal. Okay. When Jupiter and Pluto come together like this, the force of it is beyond our consciousness comprehension.
Yep.
It actually it's almost like an energetic implosion in our energy field, and it expands it, but or more it makes it implodes it. It makes it go deeper. All right. So this is a second of 3 implosions, if you will. Well, the first one they were both direct. Now they're both retrograde. Then the next time they meet, they're going to be both direct again. Okay, so it's like,
what are these things going direct and not direct? I'm sorry,
so
you lost me.
When a planet is going direct, it means it's more outward focused, right? Like something comes up and purges, and it shows itself in the outside world. Yep. When a planet is retrograde, it's more introversion. It's introspection. It's looking within, right? Yep. So the first Jupiter-Pluto conjunction at 24 degrees of Capricorn, which for me is on the line of my 10th house, which is my life purpose. How ironic. This year has been very massive for my life purpose and career and all that stuff, right? And it's also the 10th house represents being a father.
Ooh. Yeah, there you go.
Right? So
Oop, there it is.
Oop, there it is, right. So at first, like, you know, it hits and explodes, and a lot of stuff happens in the external world. Then they go retrograde. It's like, okay, you went out, now we got to come back in and go deep.
So retrograde's all about going inside.
Yes, going deep within. All right. So now we're going deep within, grabbing deeper, excavating deeper than we ever had before. And then as it goes deep, we're gonna feel all these weird, like we're expanding in a depth sort of way.
Is that when you feel the ascension symptoms that you were talking about last week? Because your physical body actually then feels.
So as you access these deeper energies, you feel it in your body. Like the other day, I went into Target during the solar eclipse. That shit hit me so hard, and I was so hypersensitive to energy. I had to walk out. I was like, there was a movie that what the hell movie? I don't remember what movie it was, but it was like when it was recalibrating all my senses. I was literally like, I was feeling energy, almost like when I first had my first big spiritual awakening. I was like, what the frick is going on here? I don't understand what I'm feeling. And then like I slept for like almost a day straight. And then when I woke up, I was like, I was tired for a day. And then, I did some self-care. I got a massage. I got an NAD IV infusion that helped, clear me out and get me all nice and balanced out. And then, and now I'm like, woo, all right. And it's like, now, like I've integrated these energies and it's happening faster and faster and faster. So now these energies, I'm feeling like these gifts, these sensitivities, which can sometimes feel like a little bit of a curse at first until you learn how to work with them. But once you learn how to work with them, I'm telling you what, we are going to start to be able to read energy at such a more sensitive and deep level, further and farther. And I'm feeling things that I've never felt before. And
for those, so when you're more sensitive than most people, so most people are going to just start to feel things that they're going, what is this about?
Right.
Which you and I have been feeling for years.
Right.
You know,
True.
there's a lot of people that all this is going to start to open up, and people are going to start going, what is this? What is that? So, and again, this goes back to that as you increase your sensitivities, more that's not in alignment with your core and who you are on a soul level is going to bother you more.
Right.
But know that those triggers that come up are just about that it's ready to heal and you're ready to let it go.
Right.
And
Exactly.
and none of this is bad.
No, it's not.
Other thing, like we just have to realize this is part of our evolution.
Gotta get it out now.
Right.
So I have a couple questions here. Well, more like statements, but for people that are just getting used to this energy thing, because I'll tell a lot of people like, oh shit, yeah, I'm feeling that. What the hell's going on?
Yeah, because they don't know. Right.
Feeling energy can be exhausting. How do you protect yourself from sensitivities that are overwhelming? So would you like to take that one, Julie?
Sure. I mean, one of the biggest things, because like I have a couple kids that are really strong empaths. And so it's about, if you know you're going into a situation that has a lot of potent energy, like just visualize yourself with gold light around yourself before you walk into that situation, almost like a bubble, like a protective bubble of golden light. Because again, it's visualization. So if you have to go into somewhere, do that. Also, one of the biggest things about living in the present moment and listening to that inside, that maybe if you're really sensitive that day, don't go anywhere. Like, it's okay to listen to that inside voice that's saying, whoa, this is overwhelming. Whoa, this is, because it's only going to be bad when you go out and you're not ready to process whatever's going to come at you.
I call that a DDS day. Don't do shit.
Oh, nice. Well, and and we all know this to a certain extent. It's kind of like I know people that are healthy for me and people who are not healthy for me, and those that are not healthy for me, I'm putting up really strong, healthy boundaries around those people. And some of them I have to see because of relations or things of that nature. And you just like take it as a grain of salt and you just kind of go, okay, they're walking in, I'm walking out, or they're, but it's about being aware to what is triggering you and what's not triggering you. But you definitely have to go into protective mode.
Yeah. So, so the way that I feel it is if you're getting exhausted by energies, it's because you don't have solid emotional boundaries. And this is teaching you how to put, instead of walls, because when you're in an unhealthy place, you put up walls in defense mode, right? But then nothing good can come in. So you're like isolated, and that's where sort of the dark night of the soul happens, where you have to learn how to bring down those walls, become more vulnerable when you already feel vulnerable, and establish healthy boundaries within yourself. And that means you have to open up your heart and shift from fear to love consciousness.
Well, and a big part of that too, isn't it, about the fact that you're more sensitive because your heart is opening more than where it's been.
Right. And this is that Pluto energy that we're talking about here, because Pluto is the deepest vulnerability that we have. It's that feeling incredibly like an exposed nerve, but you still have to go do it. It's like, I don't know how the hell I'm going to do this. But when you do it, it transforms you. Totally. And you have to just allow it to transform you. Like you can't think about it. You can't just talk yourself into it. You just have to go into it and accept what is. And then once you get to the other side, you realize, oh, wow, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Well, and you got to remember the vulnerability of the heart is like building a muscle. So you have to learn to how to be out in the world, because you can't be a shut-in the rest of your life, right?
No, that's no good.
You're being
especially
open
right now,
because you're supposed to share all that love and compassion and that heart energy with those who you encounter.
Right.
And so, I mean, that's what drives me to do this every week, because it's like, okay, how do I talk to more people?
Right. Exactly. Facing that discomfort within.
It's kind of like when people are like, I can't believe that you're having children. I'm like, I'm just balancing the population for all the shitty people having kids, because I know I'm a really great person. I'm just balancing the numbers, said that tongue in cheek, years
ago. Analytic way to
I know. But it's the same thing. It's like there's so much garbage out there right now that's just flying around. It's like, I want to balance the energies and be a bright light and to be somebody that's going to provide good in the world. And as everyone's hearts are opening up, that just means that you're being called to the same thing so that we can shift this world. You know,
100%.
I know that that's what we're here to do.
100%, right there with you. So someone asked, what do you and I feel that our strongest spiritual gifts are?
Mine. Ooh. Well, you want to answer it for me and I'll answer it for you? Or should we answer for ourselves? Okay, we'll answer for ourselves.
Yeah, there we go.
You go first.
I'd say my strongest gift is I can physically feel energy in the body, like my intuitive empathy. Like I feel other people's energy in my body, but that used to break me down, but I've learned how to translate it. That was exactly why I wrote my book, Decrypting the Language of the Human Body, because I've had to learn. It's like a language in the body. And once you learn the language of the physical body and how it relates to the emotional body, you learn what it's the language of it, what the patterns are trying to teach you, so that it becomes more fluid, right? So download my free ebook.
Well, and for me, my gift is the fact that I can see the outcome of something way before it ever happens. And I know exactly the path of how you need to go to get you to that desired place. I am really good at that. And I could just meet somebody, ask a few questions and follow my guidance and be like, whoop, oh yeah, you just gotta go whoop, 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 and then you're there.
You just sound like the Three Stooges right there. Whoop, 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 whoop. Hey, Mo.
Yeah, like it's almost like I'm a magician and the alchemy like just comes into alignment. And that is by far my gift, because I can get people right through the pile of shit that they're sitting in like that.
Yeah, you would definitely help me work through my pile of shit that I was in.
And it's really what I have found through the years. It's just about the fact that people need to just trust me. It
is all about trust, that's for sure.
And it was interesting early on in my gift. Then once I got people to that other side, like clients would leave and people would leave me. I'm like, but I finally got you there. Stick around.
Yeah, right.
And I was like, oh, I'm supposed to take the next one then.
Yeah.
Like it took me a while to be like, this isn't a bad thing. This is a good thing, because this is your gift.
Yeah, right.
Know? And it's okay, right?
It is okay.
You get a few nosebleeds along the way, but it all works out.
Well, and that's where, as we grow and because same thing, like, like I used to feel like I would help, people, and then they would just like expand beyond me. And I would compare myself to them. Like, well, I'm doing all this great work. Why aren't I expanding? Why aren't I rising up? Why aren't I like becoming more wealthy or more popular or more this or more that? But that was all ego driven shit that was for me. Right. And so each step that we go, each lesson that we learn is helping us to realize and learn, look, like you got to humble that shit. You got to like let the ego die down. And I'll be the first to admit I have a really strong ego, but I've learned how to temper that so that it's strong in a healthy way.
Well, can I tell you, I don't necessarily know if it's about you tempering it as much as it is that you're allowing your heart to lead and letting your ego and your mind then come second to it, because there is a purpose of our minds and our egos.
Yeah,
but the heart has to go first, then our smarts, then our mind. True. Deirdre Morgan was one of my best teachers, and she's constantly talking about that you have to start with your heart and then add your smarts.
Start with your heart, add your smart. I like it.
Because your smarts is your mind and your ego. Right? Like there's a purpose for that too, but the heart needs to lead.
That is so true. And I feel like the situation will always still come in to sort of test you. Like, oh, you're gonna lead with your ego this time. Like you want to just let loose and be like, okay, I'm just gonna say frick it and get this instant gratification and have fun. and or am I going to stay true to my heart? Like, no, I know that's not good for me. I know I know where that road leads. So I'm just going to stay here with me centered.
Well, and how it manifests is that if you don't align with your heart and do and say and think the things that are aligned with your heart, disease develops in your body and you keep recreating debt cycles with your money. Like that's where it shows up in both parts.
Yeah.
And I've seen that over and over again. Like I was talking to somebody today and I'm like, you know what? That's really great. You've done a really good job. You got all your credit card debt down and you did all that, blah, blah. And I go, but you underpaid the IRS and now you owe them 20 grand.
Ooh.
And it's like, they just created a debt in another place.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, that's how it energetically acts out. So, and people are like, well, but some debt's a good debt. I'm like, really? I don't know. I don't know anyone who's really excited to take on debt, because all I know is that when you pay off your student loans, you pay off your car and you pay off your house, you're happy as shit.
Yeah.
Like there is nobody that is sad or neutral about any of those things happening.
Yeah, no kidding.
And so it's about the fact that, like, let's not act it out in debt anymore. Let's not give away our personal power to debt or disease anymore.
Yes,
like, we don't need to do this. We choose this.
Yeah. And especially with this Pluto, I'll tell you, this Pluto Jupiter conjunction is a milestone in our growth right now.
Okay, so I have a question on that right now. So
okay, bring it.
Cheryl says, so when we say enough is enough with a person or a situation, is it our heart or energy? Is this Pluto taking over?
Well, I think Pluto taking it over is that's not necessarily like even an accurate statement. It's more like
straight, big guy.
Huh?
I said okay. Straight.
So that's sort of like the energy of Pluto is saying that, okay, you need to look at this. It's when you get to that point where it's like, fuck, then it means that you've been through it so many times and you see it and you're finally ready to acknowledge it, right? So, and when that Plutonian energy comes in and it just hits you like that, it's almost like you realize, okay, I don't have a choice. Because if I keep fighting it, it's just gonna make me feel like shit. It's just gonna
the fighting never works.
You just don't have any more fight, and you're just like, but that's sort of the point sometimes that you have to get to, where it's just like Pluto is like, just fucking surrender and let me take care of it.
Right. So do you, and the universe will take care of everything else.
Do you surrender and trust?
Right.
Surrender and trust. And Pluto, yes, Pluto can be a bitch sometimes, especially if you have difficult angles to it, right? But Pluto is there for our highest and best good. It's the transformation agent. It's the rising of the phoenix. And if you want to become, a higher vibration, you got to purge that shit. And it does not feel good when you purge it. But really, when you start to experience the purges, like after a few times, sometimes maybe a few hundred times, but you get to the point where like, okay, I know it's coming. I'm just going to relax into it, and it sucks, but it's going to be over with. And I'm just going to honor, you almost like sort of shut down. At least for me, I'm shutting it down for a little bit. I'll be back to the world here after I go through my shit, and I handle it and I deal with it. And okay, all right, I did it. Now let's keep going.
Right. And we have to remember that everything is energy.
100%. Yeah. So Pluto is just one archetype of the grand scheme. And there are many archetypes hitting us from many angles right now that are bringing up a lot of stuff. All the deepest, darkest stuff that we have avoided looking at for the last however many years that we've been alive is coming up. And it's not only coming up from this lifetime. This is coming up from multiple lifetimes, from the entire age of we are clearing the entire age of Pisces. This is karma that's been built up for thousands of years. For people who aren't
familiar with that, what time period is that? That's been like since Jesus came around, right?
Jesus started the age of Pisces, right?
Long time, man.
A very long time.
Well, and we need to realize that even if you, from a religious perspective, don't believe in past lives, because I know a lot of people that don't. Right. It's in your DNA.
Oh, 100%.
Like, that you can't deny. So,
So
like, you are responding to the world because it came down, those emotions of how those people prior to you lived is stuck in the cells of your body.
Exactly. And you know, they say that we only use 3% of our DNA, right?
Right.
Well, guess what? Right now, with all the solar flashes coming off the sun and all this new like gamma energy that is coming from the universe, our collective frequency is raising, and when it raises, it activates our DNA, because our DNA is connected to the to Mother Earth. So,
Right.
what is the control dynamics that be trying to do? They're trying to give us things that actually suppress our DNA, because they don't want us to be able to teleport and be able to levitate and
Yeah, that's vaccines, right? Vaccines
exactly.
suppress that. Yep.
Exactly. But not just vaccines. It's 5G will do that. All the GMOs are not consistent with our DNA. They're genetically modified organisms. So they make the body confused, right? Heavy metals, like, you know, if you use underarm, deodorant that has aluminum in it, you know, fluoride in your toothpaste. I was thinking ahead of myself. You know, like that's why we have to be careful about our water we drink nowadays. I mean, it's absolutely insane. Right? It's absolutely insane.
From my alkaline water machine.
There you go. Right? But isn't it unfortunate that we can't just go down to a river and, you know, drink some water from there, because they literally have tried to poison us in every way, shape, or form. Then if you're on medications, if you are taking, you know, stuff that's extra for your body and throwing yourself off even more, like even in the fitness industry, right? A lot of people take, you know, stuff to optimize themselves, but even the fitness industry, because it's all about money, a lot of companies, they put fillers, they put fake colors, dyes, all kinds of crap, you know, things that again are poisonous to the gut and the immune system. So we're taking this stuff in from all these different directions, and then that creates bacterial overgrowth, and all that interferes with our DNA as well.
Right.
So we really have to be like strict and disciplined, at least right now, until so right now there's
and can we say like the strict and the discipline has to do with the fact that it's all about vibration, right? So if you do the things like you remove the GMOs, you have proper water, like you're not drinking out of shitloads of plastic and stuff like that. Like when you do those things, it's not just about optimal health. It's about the fact that that optimal health then actually raises your vibration, which actually then allows you to move through this stuff
easier, more efficiently. Exactly.
Way easier.
Right.
Look at anyone who's like super overweight or super anxiety and they're on anxiety meds, like
right,
all that, or people who eat junk food, like you just tell they have bad skin, you know, like they're having a tougher time.
Yeah,
you know,
and their immune systems are already struggling. I mean, autoimmune disease 30 years ago, you didn't even hear about autoimmune disease. Nobody knew what it was. In fact, diabetes wasn't invented until insulin was invented. Did you know that? back in the 1920s, 1930s, that's when they started using sugar instead of cocaine and Coca-Cola, and that's when they also discovered insulin and how to synthetically make it. And then once they figured that out, they're like, hey, we're gonna start spiking sugar in everybody's food, and we're gonna overwhelm the pancreas, and then also with vaccines too can cause diabetes, especially back in the day with the polio vaccine. Okay.
Right.
And then diabetes was born. Now they have now we're seeing little kids with type 2 diabetes because they're too overweight because their bodies are so fucked up. It's disturbing. We got to fix this.
That's crazy.
Right.
Yeah, I want to share this from Deanne because I think this is a really great statement. She's like, LOL, I just unblocked my soon-to-be ex-husband. First time we talked in a year. He was so negative. I realized last few years of the marriage, I could feel him snapping the energy out of me after he was away working, and came home, and I could feel myself sinking into depression and not wanting to get out of bed while he was home. See, this is all energy. And, you know, there's a great book about that. It's called Energy Vampires by Dr. Christine Northrup. Talks about that, where people are like energetic vampires or parasites, a lot of vampirism going on because they're getting their life force energy from you, the empath. And usually that has to do with some narcissism too, where that's how they feed energetically. So the key is really, really strong boundaries. You know, and
Yes.
I'm actually starting a new series called Awaken Your Relationships.
Ooh,
Because,
there you go.
yes, the first one is this Thursday at 9 a.m. Central.
All
And
right, guys, check it
because-
out. 9 a.m. Central.
Because what I found is that so many of us who are having health issues, because we get to places of depression and stuff like that, it's actually comes from our relationships a lot of times too, because we're putting up with people
I'm single.
who are not our partners, but somebody who we're feeding on an energetic or an
Yeah.
emotional level on some sort.
Yeah.
And so it's really important. Not only it's great that if you've gotten to a place where you've left the person or something of that nature, but you need to also build the muscles so that you don't repeat the patterns in your next relationships.
Exactly. And that's what the work right now is so
Totally.
important doing, whether you're partnered or single. Like we have, because right now, this year too, is people like are calling in their soulmates, power couples, people that are really doing the work. Like we need to come together, you know, in order to be able to, because we're going to enhance each other's energy, but we have to be able to stand in our power individually and interconnectedly, or
Totally.
interdependent relationships. And the more interdependent relationships as opposed to codependent relationships we have, the stronger that vibration is going to be, and the more influence you're going to be able to have to wake up more people.
Yep.
Right?
So be the
Yeah.
brighter lights. That's
Yeah.
important.
So if
You
I got a soulmate out there, holla.
Everybody does. You just have to have the courage to go find them.
Yeah, right.
Actually,
No
they'll
kidding.
come to you. You don't actually need to go
Yeah, gotta be a magnet. Bring
energetically.
that shit
Just
in.
hold the fact that that's what you desire and you want, and the universe will orchestrate it.
Absolutely. You get that right.
Yeah, because again, goes back to if you don't, like if you stay in these relationships, so it acts out in your health or through your money so often.
So true.
You know what? And those of us who are tuning into this kind of stuff right now, like we need to just strengthen our light and brighten our lights.
Yes,
And
100%.
it's really about
Critical
it's not
right
being
now.
selfish. It's about self-love and self-care.
Right. We need to be able to give from a full cup as opposed to draining our cup to giving to others.
There's no doubt. Yep. And it's too easy to drain that cup.
Well, and that's what sort of we're pre-programmed to do, right? That's
Right.
what empaths typically just give their power away.
Well, and I want to encourage everyone who's watching that this is why it's so important for us to actually communicate and use our voice about the things that we're moving and shaking and share things that are so filling. And, you know, I've had multiple people over the last few months be like, oh my God, Julie, I just love all the stuff that you're putting out there. And it's like, I'm just following my intuition and my guidance, the fact that, yeah, this is a positive thing out there. I need to put it out there. This is a positive thing. Like,
Hell
be
yeah.
that bright light. And not only to help yourself, but also to share that ripple effect and that vibration with other people.
I like the hand gestures. It works.
It's the exercise I got today because I've been sitting.
Yeah, there you go. Hell yeah.
Oh, such great
love it.
stuff, you know,
Yeah.
and, you know, we just need to keep spreading more love, more compassion, and everything else will fall into alignment because
Exactly.
we will be filling our destinies.
Right. We don't have to chase it.
No.
I know, like a lot of times empaths, myself for a long time, I felt I got to chase my dreams. The whole chase your dreams thing is sort of an oxymoron, because when you're living your truth, your dreams will come to you. You become
Yeah,
a
it really
magnet
does.
for what you want to attract.
Yeah, it absolutely does. There is no doubt about it.
Yeah. So don't chase it. Be a magnet.
Yeah, be a beautiful magnet. It's so important.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I really think it's super important that everybody, you know, you don't have to do this by yourself. You
No,
know,
absolutely not.
Nam and I both have things on our website. So you can come to juliemurphy.com. I have a toolbox with resources to help you along your journey. And come join me, you know, whether if you need help on your relationships or working on a spiritual realm. I'm going to be doing Awaken Your Spirit in a couple weeks, bringing some energy work to the table. And, you know,
Nice.
we're here to support you on whatever facet that you need the help on, and tell them about your goodies.
Exactly. And I have the opportunity community, and we are doing some amazing work in there. You can go check out my website, spiritualbodybuilder.com. Also, I do astrology readings, and as Julie can attest to, I can basically help you understand your own consciousness, reading your birth chart and seeing what you're working through even right now, what the universe is trying to teach you, what soul lesson that you're going through. And, I also do spiritual health coaching, like, how like the imbalances in your body and your mind are creating, distortions and disease, and how to balance that out. And in fact, I created a 4-week transformational protocol, which goes hand in hand with my opportunity community, where we all get together and we're getting in shape physically, emotionally, spiritually, bringing our gifts out, making money, making friends, networking. It's fucking awesome, guys. Check it out. spiritualbodybuilder.com. Boom.
Love it. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next Monday at 8 p.m. Love you all.
Amen.